Most men think attraction grows when things feel smooth, but the real moment that decides everything is when the energy suddenly turns difficult. Listen carefully. When a woman starts to feel deeply drawn to a man, her behavior often becomes less predictable, not more. That's the part nobody explains. Guys assume that if interest is real, it should feel easy, warm, and obvious all the time. But in reality, emotional investment often shows up as friction before it shows up as comfort. Here's why. And if you understand this, you'll stop misreading the moments that actually matter. When feelings become real, risk appears. When risk appears, protection mechanisms turn on. Not as a strategy, not as manipulation, as instinct. Emotional exposure makes people cautious, and caution asks questions without using words. She might become quieter for a day. She might challenge your opinion more sharply. She might pull back right when things were getting closer. To an unaware man, this feels like loss of interest, but very often it's evaluation. Not, do I like him? That part is already answered. The real question is he steady or is he pretending? Because confidence is easy when everything goes your way. Stability is proven when it doesn't. Most men fail right here, and they fail in two predictable directions. First reaction, over-pursuit. The moment her tone changes, he panics internally. He doubles his messages, over-explains, over-apologizes, tries to repair a problem that was never actually declared. His energy becomes nervous instead of grounded. He thinks he's showing care, but what he's showing is dependence on her mood. Second reaction, wounded pride. He gets cold, defensive, slightly hostile. He labels her behavior as games and pulls away in protest. Now, instead of steadiness, he broadcasts fragility with an ego shield. Both responses communicate the same hidden message. My emotional state is controlled by yours, and that message quietly reduces attraction. Emotional maturity is not about chasing reassurance, and it's not about punishing distance. It's about remaining internally balanced when the emotional weather shifts. And this next part is where the dynamic flips in your favor. What actually builds attraction under pressure is regulated presence, calm engagement, no dramatic swing upward or downward. You stay warm, but not needy, available but not hovering, responsive, but not reactive. Think of it like this. If someone is deciding whether a bridge is safe, they don't test it when the air is still. They test it when the wind blows. Emotional steadiness is the bridge. She isn't measuring your charm in those moments. She's measuring your nervous system. Can you stay composed when the tone changes? Can you keep your humor when challenged? Can you listen without scrambling to defend your identity? That's what signals strength without saying a word. Emotional control is louder than emotional intensity. Now, let's clear up a dangerous misunderstanding. Staying grounded does not mean becoming distant or silent. That's avoidance, not strength. Grounded men are emotionally available. They're just not emotionally thrown off balance. There's a difference between calm and cold. Learn that difference. Calm says, I'm here and I'm steady. Cold says, I'm gone and I'm punishing. Only one builds trust. Here's the paradox most men never hear. The more emotionally safe she begins to feel with you, the more expressive she becomes, not less. Expression includes moods, doubts, intensity, contradictions. That's not instability, that's reduced filtering. When someone stops performing and starts revealing, the surface gets messier, but the connection gets more real. Do you want polished behavior or authentic emotion? Because you rarely get both at the same time. A grounded masculine presence doesn't try to suppress emotional waves. It absorbs them without drowning. You don't fix every feeling. You don't debate every mood. You don't interrogate every silence. Sometimes strength is simply not overreacting. Your stability is tested before your value is trusted. And understand this. These moments are not obstacles to attraction. They are gateways to deeper attraction. When handled well, they increase emotional safety and polarity at the same time. But when mishandled, they create doubt. Ask yourself this. When tension appears, do you become smaller or more centered? Because attraction is not built only on how you show up when things feel good. It's built on how you show up when things feel uncertain. Let's make this practical. If she becomes distant for a day, you don't chase explanations. You continue your rhythm and respond normally when she engages again. If she challenges you, you answer clearly without turning it into a courtroom defense. If she's moody, you stay respectful but don't become her emotional manager. If she needs space, you allow it without dramatizing it. That behavior communicates emotional self-sufficiency, which is one of the strongest attraction signals there is. Long-term attraction isn't powered by constant harmony. It's powered by dynamic tension handled with maturity. Two people who never challenge each other create comfort. Two people who challenge well create chemistry. And here's something important. This doesn't stop once commitment starts. Even in strong relationships, emotional testing doesn't disappear. It evolves. Not as sabotage, it is calibration. People check foundations the way engineers check structures, periodically. Not because they expect collapse, but because stability matters. The men who understand this don't resent these moments, they use them. Each one becomes proof of character instead of a trigger for insecurity. So the next time behavior shifts unexpectedly, don't rush to label it disrespect or manipulation. First ask, what is actually being measured here? Composure, patience, authenticity, emotional resilience? Because often the moment you thought was pushing you away was actually inviting you to show your depth. And depth is rare. If this message helped you see relationship dynamics more clearly, hit like and subscribe to Learnify. More content here is designed to sharpen your emotional intelligence and personal presence. And remember, attraction grows where emotional steadiness lives.